Okay, so let's begin. So we have 5 teams that are going to present. You each have 5 minutes. Judges, as I mentioned before, you have 2 to 3 minutes to ask questions. After we conclude all presentations, I'll give time for the judges to deliberate and we'll choose a room winner. That team will go on to the final round. Those presenting, just a note, once you're added as a speaker, please look to the speaker chat, which is in the left corner, to see messages on how much time you have left. So we are going to start by introducing our judges. So let's bring them to the stage. Hi guys, how are you?
Good. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Excited.
Yo.
So I'll introduce first David Slitsky. He's a music and artist strategist at Namesake. You want to say a quick hello, David?
Hey, sorry. Excited to be here. Very curious to see what the groups have for us today.
Great, thank you. And then we also have Blessing Manafa, who is the founder of Digital Alley AI.
Hi, everyone. Excited to see all that you'll be sharing today.
Lovely. And next we have Trina Smith, who is a manager and music consultant at Electric Pineapple Media Group.
Hey, everyone. Good luck with your presentations. Can't wait to see what you've got.
And finally, we have Daria Gasanova, who is a product manager at Co-op Music.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here. Good luck with presentations. I'm sure it's going to be stressful, but hopefully in a good way. So we're here to root for you.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much. So we're going to get started with Team 13, who will be presenting music featuring. So let's get them on stage. Hi, Ramona, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, just figuring it.
You're part of Music Featuring, correct?
Yes, yes.
And who will be presenting alongside you?
Nirukti and Doris.
Okay, great. Let's get them on stage.
Can I prepare the share screen?
Yes, you can start to share your screen.
Let's see. I'm waiting for my colleagues to show.
Yes, we're just waiting for Nirukti and Doris to join us.
Okay.
So we do not have Doris with us. Do you guys want to present just the two of you, or?
I'm
She sh-
just
No, she should get here. We
She
talked
should be here.
2 minutes ago.
yeah.
Let's give her another minute then.
We just talked to her.
Okay, we'll give her another minute, and then if you guys would like, we'll move to another team just so that we ensure that we're kind of having a flow and not being too delayed.
She's having connecting issues, so I think
Okay.
Okay. So I think we're ready to start. Unfortunately, I don't think Doris can join us now. I
Okay.
think she's facing some technical difficulties.
Okay, so let's get started.
Yeah.
You can begin now.
Hello, I'm from Team 13 and I am Ramona, a musician and artist from Romania. Un muzician și un artist din România, which speaks with special characters and in Romanian. And I sing in Romanian. So my market is quite narrow. That's why I need to expand it throughout musical communities that speak Romanian language and sing and listen to Romanian music. But at some point, my social media reach is too narrow for that. So I get to my limits very fast. That's why me and my colleagues thought about music featuring, the future of music featuring for indie artists from emergent markets. Because we have very creative minds, and when you think about a collaboration, to collab or not to collab, you think, well, I'm creative enough. Yes, but your market reach is too narrow, and it will be. You have your own limits. When you collaborate with a different artist that shares the same community as you do, or as a potential community, then you get the chance to grow. But this opportunity of growth is not all sunshine, because independent artists from emerging markets cannot find proper collaboration easily. Most of these collaboration in indie terms end up poorly because the terms are not discussed, because you do not have the same level of career when you try to do a collaboration. So it's very difficult to find someone that could really help your career, and someone that could benefit from your career also. So it has to be mutual. So that's why our solution is like a dating app based on a scoring tool that identifies high leverage collaboration partners by measuring complementary markets. And these criterias help me as an artist to make useful collaborations that could make my music exposed to different communities, to that share the same passion for listening to music in our own native languages. Okay, we speak lots of languages. I speak English, but I must admit that my sincere artistic persona is still in Romanian, and I'm not the only artist that thinks like that. I'll let my colleague Nirukti to talk to you about the methodology and the numbers. I'm the artist. Thank you.
Nido, you're muted. You need to unmute yourself.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? So before we started building music featuring, we really started with this one main question, which was, if two artists were to collaborate, does it introduce them to listeners in a country where they have a weaker presence, and how does that look like visually? So we started off with like smaller data set, which we clustered by artists and artists by a shared language and genre, in this case Tamil rap. Uh, because there are many similar language communities like that which are spread across multiple countries, and the three metrics that we looked at were top audience by countries, the career stage those artists were at, and the chat metric rank. And then we gave them a score based on that. Next slide, please. So this is a prototype that we built. For purposes for this demo, we focused on Tamil rap, like I mentioned. And the artist that we've used to anchor this is Young Raja as a case study, because his audience clearly reflects cross-border dynamics. While we understand that he's not an independent artist, this is just a proof of concept to demonstrate how the model works. Young Raja's main markets are India and Malaysia. And based on the scores, the top three artists that you see are the top potential collaborators for Young Raja. Based on the scores are these three. And I will explain why these three surfaced in the next slide. So the three artists that surfaced were Madras Cartel, which are a Canadian-based rapper duo. What it does is like it unlocks a new audience geography for Young Raja, which is like an independent Western circuit in North America. Kevin Smokyo, he expands his reach beyond, like once again, like a heavy North American audience. So he can introduce, if the collaboration works out, he can introduce Young Raja to a North American audience. And last but not the least, MC Sai. They both are at the same level of their career trajectory, which is like they're both mainstream artists. They can actually collaborate and solidify their existing audience on ground while not introducing anyone new. But based on what the scores are, I think Madras Cartel and Kevin Smokyo would be like the best two options. Why is this important? I think now more than ever, I think there is a call for language diversity. That is why building this tool would be important and impactful. Next slide, please. For future, what we plan to do is while we were working on the data set, we already found out
I'm
that
so sorry to interrupt. That's your time.
Okay.
I'm going to bring our judges back to the stage so that they can ask a couple of questions.
Yeah.
David, do you have any question? Maybe we'll start there.
Yeah, one question I actually had was there consideration on removing the language restriction? I mean, would you see similar results in creating multilingual records, or was that not something that you wanted to tackle within the scope of this?
We've specifically wanted to tackle language specific ones, especially in markets that are quite linguistically complex. So that is why Tamil was one of them. We actually wanted to explore more languages as well, but Rome wasn't built in a day, and so we did the best that we could, like, with what we had. So yeah, so that, I hope that answers your question. So ideal would be like we would love to expand it to other languages as well. We've seen a lot of similarities between Bhojpuri, which is another language that is spoken in India, but also has something called chutney music from the Caribbean, which also has similarities in terms of language also. So it sort of expands to a seamless collaboration, but also exposing them to different languages that have similarities as well. So same with Russian, same with say maybe Swahili or other artists, like other languages as well, and opening it up to more genres as well.
Any other questions? Daria, maybe?
If I may, out of curiosity, given in the future artists get access to your solution, would you expect the score to guide their decisions and provide any recommendations for collaboration in terms of market or language, or the other way around? Would that be the artist who would specify, oh, I'm interested in collaboration in that particular market with that particular language? How would you envision that moving forward?
Can you clarify the question, please? I'm not quite sure I follow.
Well, I just wonder what would be the next step for the project. So other artists might have access to it at some point. Is that correct?
Our target audience was kept in mind, keeping independent artists who don't have access to A&Rs. So this would be a tool that is specifically built for them, that they can sort of put in their language specific and the genres that they have. They can put in their feeds, and so it will sort of give them a list of like other artists similar to them in terms of genre and languages, and potentially open up doors in terms of like how they can be exposed to their audience and vice versa. So that's the
Understood.
goal.
Understood. So artists will decide the
Artists
markets
will
that are
decide.
relevant.
Yeah. So this was really born out of like giving the power back to the artists and putting it back in their hands, because it's quite fragmented, the data. Language more so. We know how genres work. They are quite messy, to say the least. But languages, I think there is still hope, because it is an identity marker, and that is why we led with language first.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Team 13.
Yeah.
That's going to conclude your presentation and the questions. We're going to move on to Team 4, who's going to present on SyncFit. So give us 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Hello, Team 4.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Very excited.
Hello.
Great. Let me know when you're ready and we'll begin.
We should be all set.
Okay, and you can start now.
Hello, we are SyncFit, connecting media producers to artists via demographics. Thanks to everyone for being here and to Christine for providing this space to us. We have an awesome team and we've had a great time this weekend. I'll let everyone quickly introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny, and I am the product and market strategist for the team.
Hi, I'm Miranda, and I was the subject matter expert for this team.
Hi, I'm Siddharth, and I'm the awesome person for the team.
Not sure if that worked, but I'm Kristen T. Clark, the vision and pitch lead. Our project revolves around sync and how to find the right track. We found a gap in the approach to music discovery because existing platforms' search functions primarily use artist or song metadata, but lack options to search by audience demographic. So what even happens during a sync deal? In step 1, the producer and music supervisor make creative vibe decisions about their media. In step 2, they dig through catalogs of music to find a match. This is also where artists and labels keep their content available. In step 3, royalties and rights are cleared and pricing is negotiated. These sync decisions are generally made using vibes, generic catalogs, or personal preferences. Because of this, the artist has less leverage during a deal, shouldering more risk, often settling for promise of exposure or payouts based on media success. But there's room for growth here, changing an aesthetic fit to a demographic fit. Various sync platforms exist, all catering to different market segments for different focus of use. SyncFit is positioned early in the process as an enhanced approach to demographically targeted discovery. SyncFit starts with demographics. Searching narrows the results to the interests of your target market first, and then expands to include standard parameters like genre and mood. SyncFit's different because it's audience-driven. We start with artists that fit your demographic and score the career level of your results to help maximize ROI. We find the tracks your target market prefers to de-risk selection choices and provide a discovery entry point suited to producers of any level. SyncFit benefits producers by optimizing their budget with cost-effective artists, increasing audience engagement by matching viewers' tastes, and mitigating the risk of a soundtrack flop by ensuring fan overlap. SyncFit benefits artists by expanding their audience, reaching new regions and listeners. They can enjoy increased leverage in negotiation, knowing that their audience matches the producer's targets. This leads to long-term value from the boost of monthly listeners and streams. To use SyncFit, you start with your target market demographics, then add your desired song metadata, and for further price and location targeting, you can choose artist career level and origin. All of this filtering runs through Chartmetric to provide you with the right songs for the right audience, in the right place, at the right price. SyncFit can even help you find the right market if you don't have your demographics down. Instead of using custom manual mode, you can use a reference movie to autofill the demographics parameters or match your sonic selection to the artists featured in a chosen movie. With increased access to media demographics, SyncFit could grow into predicting market demographics for a media genre, making projections for artist revenue, and estimating long-term audience expansion. For now, I'm happy to pass the floor to my team to show you how SyncFit operates behind the scenes.
Yeah, to show how SyncFit works, I'll give an example. So imagine you're a movie producer from Mexico, and you want to make a movie inspired by Pulp Fiction. So with SyncFit, you can see what audience Pulp Fiction has, and based on this audience and the artists that are featured in the movie, can you pass please? Very fast. You can see what artists in Mexico have the same audience. So for instance, we did a search using SyncFit with the audience of Pulp Fiction, but of artists that have an audience in Mexico. And we were able to identify 6 artists that match the criteria. With this, with SyncFit, you are able to find artists that are the perfect fit for your product without having to really search through all the catalog and all the artists that there are. Also, there's a way. Can you pass it again, please? The slide. Yeah. Well,
That's your time. I think you're beginning to wrap, so I think that timed well. I'm going to bring the judges on stage to ask a couple of questions. Trina, how about we start with you? Do you have a question for this group?
I do. What made you come up with this concept? Like, I know you said there's a gap for finding the audience, but music supervisors tend to work based on writing to picture, and that picture is already suited to a certain audience. So what is it that you've come up against in the industry that's made you want to implement something like this?
Initially, we were looking for a different direction of finding sync placements. And we were going to look at what was streaming while people were gaming to match that with what's popular with the market. But then we found that we couldn't even search by demographic in the first place. And so we pivoted to make something that allows you to start with your demographic instead of your other metadata. So it was just because we couldn't find a way to find the information easily.
Okay.
We were also inspired by the example of, I think, Wuthering Heights, that has Charlie XQC as an artist. And we were thinking how both the artist and the movie benefit, because they have somewhat different audiences in a way. So Charlie XQC can bring her own audience to the movie, and the movie brings the audience of the movie to Charlie XQC. So in this case, but also we're thinking about small movie producers that are looking for artists, but don't really have and when they search for artists that are good fit, they will only find expensive ones. So with SyncFit, you can filter to get only very small artists or very, let's say, cheap artists that are a good fit for your product, but are also like in your price range.
And can I just ask one more question? Does this take into account production libraries is music made for sync already? Or is this purely for people who have released commercial music?
No, this is for artists in general.
Yeah, like commercial music.
So actually
it's a
released
separate
music, not sat on a production library.
Yeah.
No, it's not connected with other libraries. It's just for finding the things that you would then do the rest of the process in another platform.
So based on people having released music?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one. Was there any consideration in porting this concept over to brands? Because I can see like on the creative side, I totally see the argument of using like one creative entities and another to bring the audience together. But I can also imagine from like a brand perspective or an advertising perspective, it's a pretty powerful case to make of, you can bring music with the built-in audience that mitigates the risk there. So I was just curious if that had come up in conversation.
Yeah, also because when you search for an artist, you can also select, like, you can also say, okay, I want an artist that has an audience interested in this product.
Yeah.
Because for instance, I want an artist that has an audience interested in beauty and makeup, imagine. Or an artist with an audience that is interested in cars. And this is information from Instagram.
Are a part of it. And we really wanted to make it for everyone. We even thought fans would think it's super cool. So it's a thing for everyone to just find the stuff that is fun to look at with the connections here.
Because like it's not only to buy to find artists based on demographics, but after you find them, you can filter them by a lot of things. You can filter them by interests, by mood, by genre, by popularity. So first you find based on the audience that you're interested in, but then you can also like add more layers to it, depending on the type of product you have.
Yeah, on top of the I'm sorry, please.
I'm sorry. I'll let you answer and then we'll
Thank
wrap.
you so much. Just wanted to add on to what Alessandro was saying, was that our biggest holdback for all of this was the availability of data. All of this data is very closely guarded by the industry, not available open. And That is why we didn't include more interest in brands and stuff. But if given the data for somebody in the industry, this could be amazing. We could integrate this with everything.
Thank
No,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Team 4. Now we'll hear from Team 6 to present Commusicly. So give us 2 seconds. Hello, Team 6.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Great.
Let me know when you guys are ready to begin.
Ray, are you here?
Hello. Yes. Yeah, I'm on here when you're ready to share. Thank you.
High five.
Renska, are you sharing the...
Yes, she is.
I am. Yes. Can you see it?
Cool. Yeah, I couldn't see it, but it's fine.
Can everybody else see it?
No, we can't see this yet.
Oh, maybe I should share again. Now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now we can start.
Okay. Are you guys ready to begin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Perfect. Hello. So, hi everyone. We're Team 6, and we have built Commusicly. So, before we get into the product, we need to talk about why it exists. The music industry has never been more connected. So, why are artists lonelier than ever? Behind all the streaming numbers, algorithms, and advice on how to go viral, there's a real problem. So many musicians feel completely alone. 25% of them don't know anyone else in the industry. And we all crave real human connection. Sometimes you just need to be in a room with someone who gets it, who gets what you do, where you are in life. But there are so many barriers to finding and meeting those peers. The problem isn't talent, it's isolation, and there's no existing tool solving it. We've spoken to artists about it, we've seen it, and we've heard this theme throughout this weekend's conference. So we've built something to fix it.
That's why we are super excited to introduce you to Commusicly. Commusicly connects artists in real life so they can support each other while navigating the complexity of the music industry. If you're an artist, you might be thinking right now, oh no, another item in my to-do list, another app to keep up with. But this is not the case with Commusicly. We just ask you some initial questions to understand your needs. We combine that with charmetic data to understand your current stage. You choose your preferred messaging platform, and you will soon be hearing from us with curated in-person meetups with other artists. For instance, let us introduce you to Admire, an amazing artist from Barcelona and the very first user of Commusicly.
Admire logs into the platform and gets prompted with 2 questions that she answers through voice notes.
I want to find healthier ways to sustain myself through the highs and lows. I love creating music videos and I direct them myself, so I believe I could be a valuable advisor to other artists.
Based on the voice note, we get to know Admire and find her chart metric profile. She sees a summary about what she's seeking advice for and where she's happy to help. We find similar artists in similar industries and maturity, compare their wishes and schedules, and find them a spot at a table in a restaurant in Barcelona. From the 2 suggested options, Admire picks Tuesday morning, and we confirm via her favorite platform.
So why us specifically? So Commusicly puts artists in a room based on compatibility. So meetings are always completely intentional and data matched. We know that social media can be very overwhelming. When you look at someone's follower count, it creates a power dynamic, and we want to remove that judgment completely on the back end. Most importantly, we understand that artists are already doing so many things for their career, they're wearing so many hats, so we didn't want to create another app. We have an AI chatbot that meets you exactly where you are using chart metric data.
So in the 24 hours we had, we reached out to the community and received feedback directly from our target market, which are emerging musicians. They reiterated the themes of isolation and loneliness, as well as commenting on how barriers to the music industry were their main cause of feeling the way they did. Out of that sample, we received a high take-up rate. The response was super positive, and they said they'd definitely use Commusicly.
The platform is free for artists always, and that's non-negotiable. Everyone else will pay for proximity to them. So it's not ad space, it's relevance. Data will stay anonymized and aggregated, and it will feed back into the community too. Artists will get to see things like what's trending in their genre, what conversations are happening across the scene, and so on. In terms of acquisition, we would start with the first 50 artists being invited, real engaged artists who are building something really tangible with their own careers. So the platform's reputation will be set by those earliest members, who will be really deliberate about who that is before then seeding out to other places. People are already looking for something exactly like this. They just don't know it exists yet. So yeah, that is essentially, that's Commusicly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can actually like access the landing page if you want by scanning this QR code, and you can actually sign up for the waitlist of Commusicly so it can reach new cities.
Thank you guys. You did amazing on time. We still had 15 seconds left. I'm going to add the judges to the stage to ask a couple of questions. Thalia, how about we start with you? Do you have a question?
Yes, thank you for the presentation. Quick question. You mentioned that anyone else would have to pay for the access to the tool. So who's anyone else that you're referring to, and what's their motivation to join the service?
So, I mean, initially we would likely just start with grants, but if we wanted to or needed additional funding, then to keep the platform always free for artists, we would explore the idea of, you know, labels or industry organizations that might want access to the aggregated data, just sort of maybe showing trends across what artists are, you know, looking for help on, or what they, you know, what they feel like is missing in their communities and so on. So it's kind of that direct access to artists, basically. Exactly what that will look like would be something, I guess, that would kind of come through conversations over time, but that sort of initial thinking is there, that that there will be interest in some of this data, because it's a lot, it's kind of more in depth, I suppose, than some of the, like, it's not just streaming data, it's real thoughts and feelings about how they are feeling and what they need.
I see. And I suppose you'll get that information based on the initial application from the artist via voice note or anything else.
Yeah, exactly that. So the chatbot interface with the initial questions, you know, in theory, it can be that one touch for the artist, but also they might decide after 6 months that there's some other stuff that they're really interested in, so they can always update and chat with it again. So we wanted to make the barrier to entry for them really low, and not involve, you know, an extra app and things like that. But you know, they are able to update things over time if they want to. They could use it as just purely social, but they could also, you know, they might be looking for advice on certain things that other peers can provide. It's kind of, you know, we're creating that community, that peer mentorship space, and the connection. But it's up to them. It's really kind of self-driven of like how they use it, whether they use that to find certain information. So therefore they can update it if they want to as well.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Blessing, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. So I was going to say, like, this is fantastic because it really borders on what's really going on, you know, especially with artists, and peer-to-peer advising and mentorship is cool. But I guess my first question would be, not to be, when you build things like these, like when you try to connect humans, you also have to try to look at the flip side of things. So I wanted to know if you had pressure tested this in the sense that what if a meetup goes bad? How how do you authenticate, validate the identity of who's an emerging artist? Because that's a very interesting spectrum. So it's like, how do you know, like, what is there some form of threshold, some form of KYC of sorts that can sort of ensure that whoever it is that is being signed up or signed in, are cool people, are sure, nothing's going to go wrong. One. Secondly, how do you mitigate, what if a meetup goes wrong? Like, what role would Commusicly play in that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've thought this through. So safety will be built into the design from the beginning. So initially, at the moment, they sign up with their Chartmetric accounts and data. So there's some level there, just real initial of they are a real artist. They exist from that perspective. But obviously, you're the sort of but also you've got to think about the verification before you're meeting people in real life. So that's why we've thought about it in a group setting, not one-on-one. That's why we plan to have venue partnerships. So we're deciding the venue's aware of what's going on, so you've got some level there, and that will always be public. No one's getting each other's contact details. It's all kind of run through the platform, like turn up at this place at this time, and you'll meet some people. You're not receiving their phone numbers, things like that. You can choose to share those, of course, when you're there, but not ahead of time. You can cancel without any explanation being needed. Again, group format really helps with that, because you're not going to end up only having one person turn up. And if something goes wrong, there's a real person to contact. So they can just text on in the same messaging that got them there. If there's something that's really wrong, like we would be able to, the venue is aware of what's going on. Like there's certain aspects that we can control. Obviously, real life meeting up, it's there's always going to be a risk, but we've tried to mitigate as much as we can by building those kind of factors in.
Okay, I think that's cool. I just sort of wanted to mention, are you leaning to be non-profit or social enterprise? Because this is going to need it's a platform that's going to need quite some tech, support, and that's money, and that's, so are you leaning to be non-profit, or are you looking at social enterprise? Because that will define how you finance this.
That's a really good question, actually. I think we thought about we've thought about sort of different ways to sort of commercialize this. So whether that is partnerships with the venues, whether that is partnerships with brands that would like, I think a lot of brands at the moment are really focused on in-person activations. So you can have that kind of sponsorship coming from, sponsored by X or Y coming in as well. So I think we hadn't actually considered it running as a non-profit. We'd gone straight into thinking about like just sort of commercializing it. But I think there was partnerships that could be on the cards with with charities that already exist to that focus on sort of mental health, whether that's mental health for artists specifically, or even sort of broader, that we could consider as well. So yeah, that's a good question, but there's a lot of factors we thought of, that not that particular one.
Thank you, Team 6. I'm sorry I have to cut you there. We're now going to move to Team 8 to hear about breaking.
Thank you.
Hi. We're missing one of our members. She hasn't had the invitation to the backstage. Victoria, could you ping her an invite, please?
She's missing an invitation to the If she goes into the schedule, she'll see the actual session, which is labeled round 3, and then I can invite her.
She's
when
saying
she
she's
joins.
trying to connect, but it's not connecting.
She's trying to connect to the session.
Yeah, we might have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Proceed without and can join.
Shall we make a start? And if she joins, you can add her.
That sounds good. Who will
Thank
be
you.
presenting the slides?
Me.
Please let me know when you're ready to begin.
Perfect, we're ready.
Okay.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
Okay, hello everyone at Measure of Music. We are Breaking, the place where developing artists get discovered before the algorithm does. The music ecosystem rewards visibility, but what about the artists who are still developing and proving themselves on stage? Developing artists struggle to get booked, venues and labels struggle to find matching talent, fans miss local developing acts building real momentum. The industry often favors artists who already have a following, leaving the live music scene without the signals to support developing talent.
We are building a discovery and connection app for the music ecosystem, powered by integrated data from Chartmetric and Jumbase. Artists get the right stages at the right time. Venues get smarter booking decisions. The industry stays updated, and fans find what's rising in their own city, discover hidden talent, and can become early supporters.
The industry keeps asking what is trending, when what they should be asking is who's building the momentum. Breaking fills that gap sitting at the intersection of live music and tech-driven discovery to power smarter and earlier decisions. For our business model, we focus on 3 groups: the artists, the fans, and the industry. For artists, they can have a free profile, which will increase their visibility, growth insights, and booking readiness. And for our premium option, we have AI advice for career growth. The industry can subscribe to discover new talent, growth analytics, and booking insights, whilst fans can use it to discover local gigs. And with our premium features, they can get invites to exclusive events and exclusive merchandise. And now we're going to take a look at our prototype.
So, this is the Breaking app. It helps emerging artists and venues find each other at the right time. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, but what we show is really clear. You can see who's growing, how they're growing, and whether they're ready for certain spaces. In Discover By, you can look at artists who are picking up speed. Cities where things are building. You can look at who fits certain venue sizes. It's less about digging through numbers and more about quickly spotting opportunity. Local and signals makes finding local artists and venues even easier. If we go to open an artist profile, you can see where they're gaining attention and which cities make sense for them next. We also suggest venues that suit their size. So instead of guessing where to play, there's a clear next step. In venues, it works the same way. Venues can see which artists are building locally and whether they're a good fit for their venue. It makes booking feel less random. With an artist, they can contact them, view their profile, get in contact, and this one is booking ready. There's obviously a lot more to this, but that's really it. We're trying to make the jump from small growth to real world shows easier, not by adding more information, but by making it clearer.
As you have seen in our app prototype, we have built the core foundation, artist profiles, venue matching, and a discovery dashboard for the live music ecosystem. Next, we'll test it with small venues, emerging artists, industry partners, and real fans, refining the system to spot rising talent early and reliably. Our goal is simple: bringing tomorrow's artists into the spotlight.
So we are the Breaking team, and we truly appreciate your time and attention today. We are excited to hear your thoughts and happy to answer any questions. You can check out our app at the link.
Thank you guys so much. That was great. I'm going to invite the judges on stage to ask a couple of questions. Trina, how about we start with you?
Hello. I think this is a good idea. I love it for venues and small venues. Will you be including things like venues that have open mic nights and not just people who are being booked? Because for me as an artist manager, it's really important that an artist goes through those stages of playing to two people in a crowd and, you know, building up from there and earning their stripes that way in order to build up. Will that be included?
Yeah, I think there's definitely an opportunities type section we wanted to introduce at a later stage. So whether that be open mic nights or someone needs a support act maybe or a band member, and so they can kind of post adverts in there as well in case other people on the app may be able to help them out.
And you said the app kind of determines when someone's ready for a certain venue or something. How is that determined? What is it that says someone's ready?
We're first of all, we're pulling in developing artists from Chartmetric and sorry, Menno Brain, I've forgotten the others. But we so the app kind of like surfaces you know, where they're building momentum, and you know, if they, you know, we're sort of matching. I mean, it's not like a dating app, but
is it based on streaming then? So if someone's streaming a certain amount, then they're ready to sell tickets at a venue? Is that
no, not necessarily, because some of these artists may not be streaming at all.
Yeah, and that doesn't correlate. So how at what point, like, are there levels of people in this, or do the artists come in at separate levels and then at a certain level you're ready for this venue? Or
yeah.
Okay.
You know, we haven't gone into it, but you know, I suppose fan base and so yeah, I mean, some of the smaller artists would be perfect for like open mic nights to kind of, you know, get out there and, you know, build that sort of fan base momentum. But others that have
based on whether they can sell tickets, basically, for that venue size. Okay. And just sorry to take over, but you said about industry partners. Do you have any? And if you don't, what do they look like?
Well, if you want to, you can create an account, you can join Breaking, and sorry, I have to actually do this in order to get myself in. So you can join the app as an artist, a venue, industry, or a fan. So if you're industry, you know, you can kind of like put what your focus is, but also, I mean, you can explore as a guest and kind of like have a look at we go back to artists. We have actually kind of like hidden it down here, so you can see, you know, their momentum score and their monthly growth and that kind of stuff, the stuff that's being kind of like pulled in from the platforms, and you know, make decisions based on, you know, sort of recommendations, you know, whether they're a good fit, worth an investment, you know, that kind of. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Exactly. I was gonna ask the same.
Thank you, Team 8. We appreciate it, and we're going to hear from our final team, which is
Thanks
Team
so much.
14.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Hello, Team 14.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Is it our turn now?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Sorry, I think I was checking on everyone. Cool. I am gonna show our presentation now. We are starting from page 1. Kim, would you please open our presentation?
Sure. Well, it's a pleasure to be here today. And who's sharing the presentation? I am.
I am sharing the presentation. Oh wait, can you
Okay.
guys share it?
I can't see it.
Okay.
It's okay. It happens.
Oh yeah.
Let me know when you guys are ready to begin. Do we know who will be sharing and presenting?
Wait, can you guys see my screen?
No. Great.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Can you just click at the bottom? There's a share button if you want to click present to audience.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Oh, this time I was waiting for you guys. So sorry about that. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Let me know when you're ready to begin.
I think we can start. Who's presenting first?
I think Kim is presenting first.
Okay.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here today. And our group is team number 14, and we are Horizon. So we're introducing the next generation platform that empowers emerging artists with data-driven marketing strategy. And I'm Kim, and May, Grace, Amanda, Lacey, as well as Jen speaking today. So next slide, please. First of all, I'd like to start with a statistic. By the end of 2025, there were over 253 million tracks that were held by audio streaming services, which is about over 100,000 tracks are uploaded every day. As a result, yet 2% of the songs capture nearly half of those global streams. In a market this saturated, following obvious data leads artists straight into overcrowded markets, which leads to artists needing more than just statistics, right? It's not more than analytics. It's a way to identify opportunity before it becomes obvious. As a result, technology allows artists to market directly to fans without label. Independence has created a highly competitive environment. And as a result, a lot of data, but not necessarily a strategy. Marketing can be costly, time-consuming, and inefficient. The current platforms don't answer this, which leads to questions of where should I focus next, which markets are worth investing, what growth path worked for artists like me. Next slide, please. So the solution is Horizon. It empowers even new artists to compete confidently in a crowded industry, and it bridges the gap between analytics and marketing execution. It transforms raw data into clear, actionable strategy. And we use Chart metric to transform raw analytics into clear strategy, direction, organize and contextualize, and translate data into insights that guide action. into a more market prioritization, competitive benchmarking, and growth pattern insights. Next slide, please. I couldn't see the rest of them, sorry. And so how does it work? So first of all, we have audience cluster mapping. It's a visual maps of where fans are concentrated. It's platform level engagement comparisons. It identifies of a high potential markets, comparable artists benchmarking, leading to a benchmark against comparable artists. So we use this platform into audience overlap, sound profile, a career stage. An artist can manually enter comparable artist names, which is found through Spotify suggestions, to see side-by-side data comparisons. And that's leading to the analysis of how similar artists build early traction, triggered platform growth, structured release cadence, expanded geography. Next slide, please. And that leads to opportunity framework, a genre streaming growth in a city, comparable artists of gaining traction, and artist listener concentration is below the expected benchmark. Next slide, please.
So our data mostly is collected from Chartmetric and Gembase. The design tool that we use is I think Fabric, right? And then the technical tool that we use is the AI Studio from Google. So from Chartmetric and Gembase, we're able to achieve data to generate the top 5 performing CDs and top 5 emerging markets for each of the artists that we work with. And from those 5 CDs, we further segment and analyze their opportunity and potential across several dimensions. Audience heat map, we place audience through different parts on the Earth map, so you know which area has more volume. And we also have the market potential indicated by the growth percentage and the trend. We also have listener volume, which is the number of listeners in each of the cities. And then related artists. So for
I'm
each
so
of
sorry, I have to stop you there. That's your time. I'm going to have the judges join us to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
Daria, let's start with you.
Since you guys mentioned Figma and Google AI Studio, do you mind walking us quickly through what is it that you actually managed to build throughout the hackathon?
Of course, thank you. Can we go to the slide for our demo, please? Thanks. So this is actually the demo that we have. So using Google AI Studio, we created the UI mockup fairly quickly, and then we downloaded the entire file into CS code. And then I added and implemented your API from Chartmetric and Gembase. So here you can just put in an artist name. It'll give you related artists that are basically very similar to your genre. And then they also have a section called events. And this is from Gembase. It pulls the events in that particular city for you. And you can go back as far as you like. And then it also hyperlinks to the event, so you can take a look at it as well. The whole purpose of this is to give artists an idea of like where their market is currently at, but also the potential markets that they haven't really looked into yet, but maybe consider tapping into. And since it's open source, you can just honestly type in your artist name and you can just start from there. You don't even have to have a Chartmetric account. Chartmetric is usually purely used as an API for us to aggregate and gather the data, which is then rendered on the screen for the user. The data exists. We're not really reinventing the wheel here. We're just making the data easier to read and in a way where users can really think about, hey, where are people listening to my music? And what cities are those? And then maybe if I want to narrow it in, what city should I be targeting? And also what events are occurring in the city? And that's really the basic feature and functionality of our app. We also have potential ideas at the time for feature functionalities, but we wanted to keep it simple as we're doing a demo product, and we wanted the product to actually work in real time. I hope that answers your question.
I feel like we created a whole loophole. Sorry about that. Quick question, if I may, as a follow-up. So with that solution in mind, do you have particular artist profile that might be interested in your service?
Yes, we really wanted this service for we use examples for bigger artists, of course, just to show how this is going to be rendering. But we really wanted this for smaller artists. For bigger artists, this is actually not as helpful because they have entire teams to tell them where they should tour. But if you're a smarter artist, your top 5 might be really insightful for you. And then your top 5 cities might also be really emerging. Cities might be really important because you're like, that's where I should look into. That's where my audience are. It gives you even more information. This app is meant for the smaller artists. It gives more clear information. It helps them plan where they should be promoting their music. And then it just offers them the idea of these are the events occurring in the city. Should they be events that I should look at? And it gives you real-time data about it based on whatever is available on Jambase. But yeah, our audience is just someone who's starting out, and whatever data they have isn't large. We just wanted to make it simple for them to see.
Is this going to be paid for by the artists?
No, it's completely free. We're going to eat the costs because we're eating the cost of the APIs. So all of this rendering is currently the APIs that you provided for us for this entire thing. And there's no other cost. Aside from maybe keeping the infrastructure, even for the backend, this would be fairly simple because we're not having a database that's saving this information. We're just using your API, getting your data, and then showing that in a simple way for the average small artist who's just starting out.
So from a business perspective, how will you make money from this?
Hopefully, we could eventually have other little analytical tools that we built in as well with our algorithm that we develop on the back end. But for the purpose of this demo, we're just showing what really unique information you can gather from an API and how that can give you enough information to start out your career.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And also, if I may add to what I just said, because of the limited time that we have, this is the demo that we have. But we are also developing an AI supported strategy for each of the musicians. So based on what the data that we have, we will have an AI tool that was able to dig deeper and then generate a more strategic, initiative for each musician.
Yeah, we can, of course, create an AI agent eventually on the back end that then gives you information on best approaches for strategy, for example.
Thank you, Team 14. We appreciate it, and we thoroughly enjoyed your presentation. I actually want to thank everyone, judges and teams included. Obviously, your hard work means a lot to us, and it showed and reflected throughout your presentations. I'm going to ask that the judges remain. We're going to pull you backstage, and then if you're here in AirMeet, you can go and watch the final presentations in the first room. If you're on YouTube, please check the description for the final presentations. So thank you once again.